All right, in this explainer, we're going to break down the evolution of Cashbook's financial automation software. Specifically, we're talking about the huge leap from their classic V5 system to the modern web-based V6. So, let's start with a really important question for any finance team out there. Is your software secretly creating bottlenecks? We're going to explore how that older tech might just be holding you back from being as efficient as you could be. Okay, so to really get what's going on now, we have to take a quick trip back in time. Understanding this history is absolutely key to seeing why the shift to V6 was such a game changer. You can see over 2 decades of work right here. But the real story, the part that changes everything, is that jump from the 2009 client-server application to the totally re-architected web solution that went live in 2020. That was the turning point. All right, let's talk about the old guard. What were the real constraints of V5? Understanding these limitations shows you exactly why the move to V6 wasn't just a nice-to-have, it was absolutely necessary. So at its heart, V5 was what we call a fat client application. Now, what does that even mean? It means a ton of the heavy lifting, the actual processing, was happening right on your computer. And that outdated architecture, it just created performance bottlenecks and depended way too much on each user's PC. So, to deal with those sluggish performance issues, what did people have to do? They had to use these workarounds like Citrix or remote desktop just to get the system to run properly. And that, of course, just adds a whole other layer of complexity and cost for the IT department to manage. Here's a big one, security. This is a huge deal. See, active development for V5 stopped back in 2020. That means its underlying tech, which was based on Java versions from 2010, became a bigger and bigger risk, leaving it open to some well-known security holes. And this slide really says it all when it comes to the day-to-day experience. With V5, things were just rigid. You got what you got, and that was it. But V6, it's a whole different ballgame. It's all about putting you in the driver's seat and giving you total flexibility. Here is a reminder of how V5 looks. Pretty dated, right? Okay, so that was the problem. Now let's talk about the solution. Let's dive into how V6 was engineered from the ground up to fix all of this and really bring the software into a new era. Now, this is so important to get. V6 wasn't just a simple update or some minor patch. No way. This was a fundamental re-architecture, a total overhaul, designed for how businesses actually work today. Collaboratively, securely, and super fast. And look, this isn't just talk or some theory. V6 is out there in the wild. It's battle-tested. We're talking over 50 successful implementations. It's proven to handle huge volumes of data, and it plays nice with all the major ERPs you're probably using, like Infor, TIMS, D365, and Oracle. But wait, there's more. The evolution doesn't just stop with the user experience. V6 expands what's possible by adding 2 absolute game-changing new modules to your toolkit. I'm talking about the new Collections and Deductions modules, and there's a good reason they're Cashbook's fastest-growing products. They create a true one-stop shop for cash management that goes way, way beyond the simple aging reports you had in V5. So we've talked tech, we've talked architecture, but what does all that mean for the people who actually have to use it every single day? What does V6 feel like to use? Let's take a look. If you had to boil down the V6 user experience to one single idea, it would be this: putting you in total intuitive control of your data. It's all about shifting you from being a passive viewer to an active analyst. And here's the brilliant part. V6 has all these features that feel just like you're using Excel, so it's super familiar right out of the gate. Think about it. You can create and save your own custom views, pin the columns that matter most, and filter or sort huge amounts of data with just a click. And it goes way beyond just looking at data. V6 actually turns the platform into a powerful analysis tool that you can use right on the fly inside the application itself. Honestly, this is a total game changer. Before, you'd probably have to export everything to do any real analysis. Now, you can build interactive pivot tables, group your data by any column to spot trends, visualize it with over 20 different chart types, all of it right inside Cashbook. And you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to this from a real user at Epiroc. What they're saying is huge. No more bouncing between 10 different screens in your ERP. With V6, it's all right there, unified in one single place. That's efficiency. Okay, so we've seen the features, we've seen the user experience, but let's talk about the bottom line. What does all of this really mean for your business and its growth? 20%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's the average growth Cashbook has seen every single year for the last 5 years. And that growth is pretty much all thanks to the success and incredible adoption of the new V6 platform. And check this out, that momentum isn't slowing down, it's actually picking up speed. A 26% growth rate in 2025, that tells you everything you need to know. This isn't just a software update, it's a proven engine for business growth. So let's just pull this all together for a second. The jump from V5 to V6 is a massive transformation. You're going from clumsy manual workarounds to slick automation. You're moving from disconnected data to instant analysis, from outdated security risks to a modern, secure system, and from a platform with scalability problems to one that's built for serious growth. So at the end of the day, making the leap from V5 to V6, it's so much more than a software update. It's really a strategic decision to secure your systems, streamline how you work, and truly empower your team. The only question left is, are you ready to make that leap?